Now I want to come in more detail to the word itself. We've come across it before when we looked at the Old Testament teaching on prayer. Paga. It's the Hebrew word usually translated intercession. Now it's difficult to translate it literally and precisely. It carries the meaning of standing between or coming before or approaching with violence. And so one of the ways that we can understand what this word means when it applies to prayer is to see how this word is used in other situations. Now it's translated in other ways in the Bible when it's not talking about prayer, but that will help you understand a lot when the Bible uses this word about prayer. And one of the ways it's translated is by the word boundary. Boundary. Paga is a boundary. Joshua 19 verse 11, their border went toward the west to Maralah, went to Dabasheth, and extended along the brook that is east of Jokneam. The border, the boundary between tribes. Now, the tribe could go to their paga, their boundary, and go no further. Many tribal struggles, and even today, struggles in the world are to do with boundaries, are to do with borders. Many of the wars and fighting in Europe right now are to do with ethnic boundaries and borders. People want to push back a boundary or mark out a boundary. Now this suggests to us that when we are interceding, when we are engaged in paga praying, we are praying at the front line. We are right on the very edge of things. That's why it's an exciting ministry. It also reminds us that when we are praying, we're pushing back the boundary. See, the devil wants to limit us, but when we intercede, we're dealing with the devil's boundaries. We're pushing back his limitations. We're saying we will not be confined by the devil's tactics, but we will come right to the very edge, and then we can go no further because we've reached our paga, the boundary that God has set. And that's the great exciting thing about intercession. You can push and go further and further, and you can see how far you can go, and then there comes an end where God steps in and says, that's the paga.